For all three of you guys, is there a little extra motivation playing Michigan with the way those last 3 years of games have gone? I mean, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching defeats.
I think it's important, like Coach said, we just got to keep it all about ourselves, which is something I think we've done pretty well so far. Even week one playing a big game against Stanford, it was all about us. We go into every single game fully expecting that we're going to win. But just keeping it all about us is the most important thing, and not focusing on any outside forces or anything like that. Just all about us.
Personally, when thinking back, those losses stick out to me over the years. So I definitely want to get one this week. But we're just focused on going 1-0 every week. That's kind of our theme, and that's what we plan on doing this week.
Yeah, I mean, they both pretty much said it all.
For Dan and Matt, both Michigan's defense has obviously been having a lot of success this year. And what have you guys been seeing so far, and what challenges are you expecting from that group?
I think this is the best D line we've seen this year, and coming off of a strong performance in the offensive line this past week, I think we got to continue to keep taking steps, and I think it goes back to how we prepared last week. So it's probably our best week of practice as an offensive line. It was my first week being back, and I saw some major strides being made, and so I think we got to have another good week of prep. But this is a good D line, probably the best we've seen, and got to get after them.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think their D line is definitely very strong for them. A lot of big bodies in their D line, and then their linebackers have been there for as long as I have. The last 4 years, both of them playing. The last couple of years, so a lot of experience there. And then their secondary is very athletic. And like Coach said, they're going to man us up. And, it's going to be mano-a-mano. And, we got to get after them.
For each of you guys, start with Dan, what does it mean to you? I know you're only halfway through the season, but what does it mean to be off to such an auspicious start here as an upperclassman after what you guys went through the past couple of seasons?
Obviously it's pretty cool being 5-0, but like these guys have already said as well, we're just trying to go 1-0 every single week, and that's our focus, just one game at a time, really only one day at a time. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's practice. That's all that's on my mind right now. So, obviously we're excited about it, but we just got to keep, taking it one step at a time, and great things are going to happen for us if we do that. So,
like you said, can't complain about being 5-0. But I forget who said it after in the locker room after we beat Minnesota. Everyone's going to give us their best shot now, but we like that. We accept the challenge. Excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to be 5-0. I was just talking with Frage, like the last 2 years we've already won as many games as we have before. So it's great to be 5-0, and can't wait to see what the rest of the season holds.
Matt, can you discuss sort of your journey this summer and what you went through, and then how inspiring it was to be able to talk to the team before the game on Saturday?
Sure. It kind of started before the summer, honestly. Last January, I had surgery on my right ankle, and then about a month later, I had surgery on my left ankle. And then I think 3 days after that surgery, I had to have emergency surgery on my spine. So then I started recovering from that, getting incorporated back into workouts a little bit. I tore my left pec. And then I think maybe a week or two after that, I was hospitalized. I had an infection in my pelvis, and it went septic, so it got in my bloodstream. I was hospitalized for 10 days, 3 or 4 days in ICU, I think. It was an emotional week last week. Getting out there in the field again, being able to play with all my teammates, all my brothers out there. It was a great feeling. But can't be emotional this week. All the rust is shaking off. I didn't play that well last week, so I'm just looking to improve this week because this is a good D line. Like I said, we got to have all guys playing with all cylinders.
Nick, You heard Coach say that after the Ball State game, you and Matthew had a bad taste in your mouth. And why did you feel that way? And then what'd you do to go about correcting it?
Well, I mean, there was a couple plays. Both touchdowns when we played Ball State were my fault. They were 50-50 balls. I was right there. I just needed to make the play. But, Coach always says, they're on scholarship too. So, they're going to make plays. But me and Matt, well, basically the whole defense, we hold ourselves accountable very highly. And we think that we can be the best, and we should be the best. So having that bad taste of not winning those 50-50 balls against Ball State, me and Matt set out this week to definitely be better for our teammates.
Dan, after last year, had that 10-9 game that just went back and forth, not a whole lot of points. What gives you guys confidence that it'll be different this time around? What's changed there?
I think that we kind of got in our groove against Minnesota here this last week. We put together, some pretty good drives, pretty solid drives. So now we know, we've seen what can happen. At least in the Ball State game, third quarter, we saw what happened when we trusted our game plan. Now this week, after this Minnesota game, we saw what happens, when we follow our game plan, stick to our game plan, and just execute on a consistent level every single play. So, if we can do that, you never know what could happen. Nobody could stop us, It's just if we execute consistently and just follow the game plan, a lot of good things will happen for us. So, Clayton played great. The receivers are blocking really well on the outside now, our outside guys. And then the O-line, has taken big strides. And a lot of that's just Frazier's leadership coming back as well. I think we kind of took that for granted not having him in there just as a leader, and it's great to have him back. So, if we just put all the pieces together, we'll have some success against them.
Matt, how great was it to see while you were still kind of in recovery mode, these guys winning games, and then to be dropped back into the middle of a team that's undefeated?
Yeah, it was real exciting. It was great. I mean, they got the job done when I wasn't in there, and now that I'm back in, I get to help. So it's really exciting for me. It's just I can't tell you how great it feels to be back, and just participating, being around the guys, being in the grind with them. It's a great feeling.
And Dan, how inspiring for you guys has it been to see Matt kind of come back from everything he had to deal with?
Oh, it's been awesome. And I think, last week, it really didn't hit me until this last week when Matt came back into practice and was able to get involved even after the offense comes off for a set for, 5 plays. Listen to Matt talk, he kind of brings everybody up. And he talks to us, what he thought about the set and everything like that. So, it's cool to have a guy. It's tough for me to talk to the offensive lineman. It's tough for the quarterbacks, receivers to talk to the offensive lineman and try and get them going because we don't live in that world, where it's just down in the trenches. It's hard-nosed football. We don't do that. So to have a guy like Matt come in and step back in and be able to take over that leadership role, those guys listen to him, and that's cool to have. I think that just showed that this last weekend. I think that showed, what happens when you have a guy like him back.
Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think because of the way the divisions flipped, you've only played at the Big House once. What do you guys remember about going in there as freshmen and that whole atmosphere that's there?
I traveled that game. I was on the PAT and field goal. I just remember it was a really cool atmosphere, playing in front of that many people. But as we know from last year, playing at Penn State, it's kind of fun to make those people not cheer as loud. So.
Yeah. I guess just it's the Big House. Everybody knows what it is. What to expect. So, but it's a lot of fun. Absolutely love playing at home, but away games are fun too. I like the trips, and it's pretty cool getting to go to all these stadiums. And in the Big Ten, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 that I've never played in before. So, but yeah, it'll be cool to go back to the Big House. It's a lot of fun.
How do you keep things grounded and not get over-energized about playing Michigan?
I think we kind of touched on it a little bit, but just keeping the focus on us. It doesn't matter who we play as long as we play our game and play, to our potential. And like I've said, just execute consistently. That's the most important thing we have to do on offense. Take care of the football and just execute, do your job, nothing more, nothing less. So, if we keep it about us, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll just say, our theme here is going 1-0 every week, but going 1-0 in every single rep that we have too. Every single play, go 1-0, win your job. That keeps us grounded, staying focused on just the play at hand, the moment, and not getting caught up in all the hype, the atmosphere and that sort of thing.
As far as the road games go, I know you played at Duke. Big Ten atmosphere is a little more wild, a little more crazy. Do you guys say anything to the younger guys in your rooms about what it's going to be like, how to stay present in the moment?
I'd say, each and every game is going to be tough. And especially once you get into Big Ten play, it's Big Ten season has begun. And each and every game, you're playing for a championship, each and every game. So being able to pass the torch on to the younger guys and letting them know what it takes to win a Big Ten football game is probably the biggest thing.
All the stuff that you went through, was there ever a point where you said, why me? And did you ever think you'd play football again?
Yeah, maybe my third day in the hospital, I think. It was right in the heat of everything. I was in ICU. Things weren't looking that great. I kind of got in my own head a little bit. I think one of my lowest days, it was when Coach Fitz came to visit. Him and Dr. Phillips came to visit me, and when he left, I kind of started thinking, I hope I get the opportunity to play for this man again. Play for this university. When Dr. Phillips came in there, and then when all my teammates were able to start visiting me again, I started thinking about that as well. Just thinking. I hope I could play for these guys again. And so I wasn't really sure, but here I am.
And Nick and Dan, for you two, before the Minnesota game, to hear Matt speak and share a story, did you feel sort of a sense of inspiration during that Minnesota game after experiencing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Even just from the start of the week when we found out that Matt was going to be back in the rotation. I said it already, but it was a huge spark for the offense, specifically the offensive line, to get a guy like Matt back. And then Matt actually spoke to the offense before the game and, kind of gave us his story and, his outlook on everything. And, it was absolutely motivating.
Yeah, it was definitely motivating, inspirational, and especially at the start of the week. Matt brought us up on Tuesday's practice, our hardest practice. He brought us up and talked to us and broke us down, and it was just great I was just happy to see him in pads again, honestly. So.
When he talked to you on Tuesday, what did he tell you? What was his message?
He was just excited and ready to go. It's like I said before, Big Ten season has started, so we're playing for a championship each and every week. So, Matt knew that, and he was just excited to be back playing football. So if you get a guy that loves playing football, loves what he's doing, it's great to have him come onto the field, and it basically just spreads like wildfire.
Yeah, honestly, it was just exciting just to see him back. For me, it didn't matter what he said. It was inspiring just to see Mac, back in pads and excited to, just be there and play football. He wasn't sure if he was going to be able to do that again, and to see him out there and how excited it was just motivating in itself. So.
How does it feel, Matt, to be called an inspiration, a motivation?
It's great. It's great. But like I said, that week is over with. All right, everyone is feeding off of me a bit, I guess, but the week's over with. I'm trying to shake the rust off. I hope I can continue to inspire some people, but we got to start. I have to start performing now up to my capabilities. But it feels good. It feels good to be back and get going again. It feels good to hear these guys talk about me like this.
On the sideline this year, there seems to be a lot of energy, a lot of dancing, a lot of guys jumping around. When you guys come off the field, how does that make you feel, and how does it kind of energize the team?
That's something that I think's been incredible this year. You know, a lot of those guys that you see, you know, dancing and have a good time on the sideline, those are, you know, freshmen who are redshirting this year. So, you know, they know their role. Their role is just to be, you know, motivators on the sidelines. Obviously, during the practice week, they have a huge role in giving us a good look and preparing us for whoever we're playing. But when it comes to game time, you know, they're just motivators. That's what they're there for, energy guys. So this is probably the best it's ever been since I've been here, at least, you know, with the Juice Squad, the hype guys. So it's a lot of fun. You know, when we're running off the field, even if it's a bad set and you see those guys getting hyped up and get you going, it makes it a lot easier to go out, you know, for that next set, you know, or that next series. So.
Yeah, those guys are great. I mean, I was part of the Juice Squad for the first 4 games. I'm just happy that no camera caught me with all my dance moves I had out there because they're not as good as Steven Reese's, you know. Yeah, he killed it.
Did. Yeah, I mean, they're the Juice Squad, and it's probably the best that it's been in my 4 years that I've been here. So shout out Sky Team, shout out Steven Reese.